Hello, welcome to this week's episode of everyone's favorite show, Life's Little Chroments. This week we'll be going over the new song mode feature, which Elektron added to all of these size boxes about a month ago or so, and I've been using it a lot since then, and I'll be using it a lot in the future because it's fantastic and it helps my crappy brain focus on the things that matter, like changing the sound to nice, cool sounds instead of making sure that I cue the next pattern properly or that I unmute or mute the thing in the right time, because I'm really bad at missing those things or not really, or letting, what a big problem I have is letting something run for too long when it should have ended and gone to the next thing. And then later on when I go to listen to the song, I'll be like, yeah, that instrument should have stopped earlier. So song mode lets me sit down and analyze, how long should this go on for? When should these be playing together? Are these things, when they're together, too noisy and annoying? And so on. You still have full control while the song is playing to do whatever you want. You can still mute and unmute things at little intervals and tweak all the sounds, load and unload things. You can even latch it so that it keeps playing that pattern for forever and then continue the song after. It's great. I love it, and you should love it too. Just kidding, you don't have to. Anyways, so just to get into it. So to get in sound mode, once you've updated, this button here has changed functionality. It's no longer the pattern. If you want pattern, you have to go into the options now. The pattern is here now. So get rid of that muscle memory. So this is now the song mode. It's also still the sound menu if you hold shift, but song mode if you just press it. So it lights up white, and then these light up yellow, which is a nice new color. I'm a big fan of new colors. I'm a big fan of lots of things. So if you want to turn song mode on, hit yes. You can also just hold and press instead of, if you want to act more like the function button or something, if that works better for you, you can do that. So let's turn it on. So song mode is on. I already have a song loaded up here, which is one of my newer songs, Cursed City. Check it out if you want. And yeah, so back at the song mode menu, you can load a new song, go to the song menu, edit this current song, or if you press left, it'll loop that current bit of the song over and over forever until you tell it not to. So we go to load, have my two songs here, and then if you go to menu, you got rename, clear, load, and save to project. And if you go right, then you go to the edit screen. So here has the name of the song up at the top. This is how long the pattern's been playing for, so you can just kind of give your idea of how long you've been running this pattern for. And we got labels, so you can label things. Let's highlight and turn, and then you got a bunch of predetermined things here. The only one that you can customize is pattern name, so if you want it to just be the name of the pattern, you can do that. And then we got which pattern it's going to be playing, because like you can have a song, it doesn't have to just be the pattern that you're on. You can have a song bopping between all the different patterns, which is kind of the point, I guess. So that's where you change that and just turn the knob. I just messed that up. And yeah, so just keep that in mind. If you change the pattern, I'll load this again, but if you change the pattern, it'll even if you go back, it'll erase any of your mute settings for this. So make sure you don't do that by accident. This is how many times that it'll repeat that particular row, and this is how many steps. So you can have, with song mode, it's the only way to do this really, where you can have it so that this time through it only goes 58 steps for some reason. If you're writing some weird complicated song, you can have it so that it just plays and then stops here and then goes to the next row automatically, which you can't really do without this. as far as I can think. Unless you specifically had one pattern saved that was a different amount of steps and you just went from that pattern to another pattern. But that is pretty inefficient compared to this method, so this is pretty good. You can also change the BPM per row. So if you want a section to be slower or faster, without having to make a new pattern with a different BPM, you can just have it play that time at a different speed, which is great. Again, something you can't do without making another pattern for it. And then over here at the little speaker is where you hit yes, and you can determine which of the instruments are going to play, including the effects, for that particular row. And over here, if you go all the way over to the number, you can select that's where it's going to start this time. So I want to start the bridge, and it goes right there without having to wait for the whole song. So you can kind of preview bits of the song, and it really helps for working on things without having to wait for it to get there and everything. Yeah, so that's pretty good. I'll go back and load that song. So we'll just play this here. So whenever this is lit up yellow, if you hit play, it's going to start playing the song. And if you want it to not, just turn off song mode, back to normal. Okay, so I think I just noticed a little bug, which you gotta be careful of this, unless this is intended. If so, I think it's a bad design. If you say how I said earlier, change this pattern, blah, 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 and then go back, all your mutes are erased, and it's just back to a default playing of whatever that pattern was. And I'm like, oops, I don't want that. If you load that song, which was saved correctly, go back, it's still the wrong one, even though I just loaded it. So it seems to instantly save your changes to the song, which is not a good thing. So luckily I have my project saved with the song correct, and it's locked so that I can't mess it up by accident. And now if I go back, load Curse City, it's back to my proper mutes, which is just that. Yeah, so that's a little weird. Anyways, so while it's playing, if you wanted to go skip straight to a different row, you can just highlight the number and hit yes. It'll start flashing, and now it skips straight to 4 seamlessly. And then, like, next I want it to go to 7, and that skips straight to 7. You can even do it with songs. If you go to the load menu, say I want it to play Witches, which is my newest song. You can listen to that too. And then after this particular row, it'll go straight into that song. So that's a bit how that works. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I need to... Oh yeah, well, I'll just go over making a new one. So at the load screen, if you highlight a new row, hit yes. So we're in a blank song. Go to edit. So song is empty. It says function down to insert row, yes to create rows from chain. Also didn't talk about rows yet. So you can just insert one row, but I'll just go to yes to create row from chain. If I had a chain saved already, like a normal pattern chain, like was the previous functionality, you could go from current chain and do that. Or you can go to from new chain, and you can just go bop 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 ba bop ba dee bop be dee bop ba dee bop ba dee bop billy 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 bella billy bella billy bella bop bop be ba da bop ba da bop ba da. This goes for a long time. Okay, so eventually there's, I think it's 100 or something. You got a lot of patterns you can chain in a row. You'd have some crazy long ass song. Or, yeah, so then the other way is just hold function, hit down. So every time you hit down, it'll make a new row copying that one. So, like, change this to, like, intro and blup, blup, blup. And then if I hit down while this one's highlighted, it'll copy that below it. So anytime you want to duplicate something or insert a track somewhere, just highlight the one above it and function and down, and it'll make a copy of that below it. And if you want to get rid of it, function up will get rid of it. Actually, let's see which one it gets rid of. We'll check that to outro. So if outro is highlighted and I go function down, oops, sorry, I messed that up. So outro's highlighted, function up, it gets rid of outro. So it'll delete the one that you're highlighting. And then you can also change if you want it to loop or stop at the bottom here. Oh yeah, just one last thing, just to give a demonstration. So I'll just start here on 9. I'll get it to loop so that it keeps going. Just to show you, like, whatever, if you're in global mutes, so what you're changing with the song mode is the pattern mute. So if you change pattern mutes here, it'll change that row in your song as well. So you can actually edit the song basically by doing that live. But if you stay on global mutes, if you have everything on, then it will make sure that anything that is listed in the song will play, but if you turn off certain things, even though they're still in, like, it's the same as how pattern mutes work. The pattern mutes are on, since the global's off, they're still off, but it doesn't change the song. So that way you can still mute things while it's playing and whatever. So yeah, that's how that works. And one last thing, one last thing in the edit while it's playing, how it's highlighting 9 right now, and then you hit stop and it's still on 9. We'll turn off loop mode first, actually. So if you have a start point there, stop once, we'll keep the start point there. Stop twice, we'll put it back to the start. So that's just another little shortcut. Anyways, that's it. Yeah, so hope you enjoy this, found it useful or something. Yeah, enjoy song mode and stuff, and listen to my songs, and be cool, and, I don't know, eat a good meal or something cool. Anyways, I'm done talking. Goodbye.